Your alarm goes off at 6:45 a.m. You don't remember setting it. You don't need to. It's been the same time for 3 years. You shower, you dress, you sit in traffic for 40 minutes listening to a podcast about how to escape the life you're currently driving to. You sit at your desk by 9 and leave by 6, maybe 7, eat something forgettable, scroll your phone until your eyes burn, and fall asleep knowing tomorrow is going to feel exactly like today. And here's the part that should terrify you. You're not the only one. Right now, this morning, millions of people did the exact same thing. The same alarm and the same gray commute, all leading back to the same desk where you spend 8 hours wondering how you ended up in this loop. That's not a coincidence. That's a system, and it was built this way on purpose. Chapter 1. The Machine. Let's go back. Way back. The modern education system, the one you grew up in, was designed during the Industrial Revolution, not to create thinkers, not to create leaders, to create workers, show up on time, follow instructions. Don't question the person in charge. Sit in rows, raise your hand before you speak. Do what you're told and you'll be rewarded with a grade. Sound familiar? You spent 16 years in that system, maybe more. And in all those years, nobody taught you how money actually works. Nobody explained compound interest. Nobody told you what equity is, or how leverage works, or why the person who owns the building you work in makes more from your labor than you do. They taught you the mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell and how to find the hypotenuse of a triangle, but they left you completely blind when it came to understanding why your first paycheck was 30% smaller than the salary you signed for. That's not because they forgot. It's because the system wasn't built for you. It was built for the people who need you to show up on Monday. So you graduate. And what's waiting for you? Debt. 40, 60, sometimes $100,000 of it, before you've earned a single real paycheck. And that debt does something very specific. It forces you into the first job that'll take you. Any job. Because the loans don't care about your dreams. The loans need $400 a month starting in November. And just like that, before you're 23, the cycle starts. You need the job to pay the debt. You need the apartment to have the job. You need the car to get to the apartment. Each thing requires the next thing, and all of it requires the paycheck. The paycheck isn't paying you, it's keeping you. The character, let's call him you, gets his first real paycheck and feels like he's finally winning. Direct deposit, 4 figures. This is it. Then rent takes 35%, the car payment grabs another 10%, and student loans take their piece before you've even opened the banking app. Groceries, phone bill, insurance, gas. By the time the money's done moving, there's maybe $200 left. Maybe. And that $200 is supposed to be your freedom fund, your escape hatch, your entire future. But your coworker just walked in wearing the new Apple Watch Ultra, and suddenly your 2-year-old model feels like a toy, and your apartment feels small, and there's a nicer place 15 minutes closer to the office for only $300 more a month. So the $200 disappears too. Chapter 2. Why the Rich Get Richer. Here's something they definitely didn't teach you in school. There are 2 ways to make money. You either sell your time or you own something that makes money while you sleep. That's it. Those are the only 2. You sell your time, you show up, you work, you get paid by the hour or the month. The second you stop showing up, the money stops. Your boss doesn't have this problem. Your boss owns the system that your time feeds into. Every hour you work generates revenue for the company. They pay you a fraction of that revenue and keep the rest. That's not evil. That's just how it works. But you need to understand what side of that equation you're on. The gap between the people who sell time and the people who own things has been growing for decades. Wages, actual purchasing power, have barely moved in 40 years. 40 years. Your parents could buy a house on a single income. You can barely afford rent on 2. Meanwhile, the stuff wealthy people own, real estate, stocks, businesses, goes up in value every year. Inflation eats your savings account. That same inflation inflates their assets. You're running on a treadmill. They own the gym. You start noticing this when your rent goes up for the 3rd year in a row. $200 more. Just like that. Your landlord didn't build anything, didn't improve anything. The paint is still chipping in the bathroom. But the rent went up because the market went up. Your landlord is getting richer from the exact same paycheck that's keeping you broke. And you sit there thinking, wait, I make more money than I did 2 years ago. I got a raise, I got promoted. So why does everything feel exactly the same? Because something is keeping you on that treadmill, and it isn't what you think. Chapter 3, The 3 Chains. The first one is the comfort trap. You get a raise. Finally, you've been working toward this. And what's the first thing you do? You move to a 1-bedroom with in-unit laundry. You trade the Civic for a lease on a Model 3. You start ordering DoorDash 3 nights a week because you don't have time to cook. You upgrade to the iPhone Pro Max because the camera is better and you deserve it. None of it feels extravagant. It feels earned. It feels normal. Everyone in your group chat is doing the same thing. But here's what just happened. Your income went up and your expenses went up at the exact same rate. The gap between what you earn and what you need didn't change. You make more money and you're exactly as trapped as before. The treadmill just got faster. The second one is the corporate IV drip, health insurance, 401k match, 3 weeks of PTO, dental, a steady direct deposit every 2 weeks that you can set your calendar to. These feel like benefits. They feel like your company taking care of you. They're not. They're the cost of keeping you from leaving. Every one of those perks is designed to make quitting feel like you're losing something valuable. And you are, but only because the system made sure you can't easily get those things on your own. Try buying health insurance as an individual. Go ahead. Look at the prices. That's not an accident either. The IV drip doesn't feel like a trap. It feels like security. That's what makes it work. The third one goes deeper than money. It's the identity cage. Someone at a party asks you, "So what do you do?" And your entire answer is your job title, not what you care about, not what you're building, not what you think about at 2 a.m. Your job. That's who you are. This is the chain most people don't even know they're wearing. You've attached your identity to the thing that's trapping you. So quitting doesn't just feel like losing a paycheck. It feels like losing yourself. You almost quit 3 times. The first time you're ready, you've thought about it for weeks, and then a medical bill shows up. $2,400 out of nowhere. You need the insurance. You stay. The second time, you tell your parents you're thinking about leaving. Your dad gets quiet, puts his fork down, and says, "Do you know how many people would kill for your dental plan? Your cousin's been looking for something stable for 2 years. Just keep your head down." Your mom doesn't say anything, but you can tell she's already thinking about what she'll tell her friends. You stay. The third time, you're standing in the parking lot after a terrible day, keys in your hand, and you ask yourself, "But what would I even do?" And you don't have an answer. So you get in the car, drive home, set the alarm for 6:45, and the loop continues. Chapter 4. Why most people never leave. It's not money. Everyone thinks it's money. I'd quit if I had enough saved. I'd start something if I could afford to. That's not the real blocker. The real blocker is fear. And the fear is manufactured. The entire culture is set up to make risk feel irresponsible. Your parents who love you tell you to play it safe. Your friends who mean well think you're crazy for wanting to leave a good job. Social media shows you the highlight reel of entrepreneurs who made it, but never the version where someone quit, failed, burned through their savings, and had to go back. That version doesn't get likes. The system needs you afraid. Because afraid people are predictable, they show up on time. They don't negotiate their salary because they're just grateful to have the job. They don't start businesses because what if it doesn't work? And they spend their paycheck every Friday because buying something is the only reward they get for a week they hated. You're not the worker, you're the product. Your predictable behavior is what makes the whole machine run. Your reliable spending keeps the economy moving. Your reliable attendance keeps the company profitable. Your reliable fear keeps you from ever becoming competition, and nobody is coming to fix this. Your company will never pay you what you're actually worth. They'll pay you the minimum it takes to keep you from leaving. The government isn't restructuring the economy for you. The school system isn't going to start teaching your kids about money and leverage and ownership. The whole structure benefits from you staying exactly where you are. That's not a conspiracy. It's just math. It's just how incentives work. I didn't make the rules. I'm just telling you what they are. But knowing this, actually seeing it for what it is, that's where it starts. Chapter 5. How to actually escape. You see it on a random afternoon. Nothing dramatic. No movie moment. You're just sitting at your desk and it clicks. The raise you got last month already disappeared into a nicer apartment. Your savings haven't moved in a year. You're 30 and you're exactly where you were at 25, except now the furniture is better, and you think, this doesn't stop. I've seen this play out. I know where it goes. This never stops unless I make it stop. So you start. Not loudly, not with a big announcement or a vision board or a quit date circled on a calendar. You just start. First, you kill the lifestyle inflation, not by living like a monk, by just not upgrading anymore. The next raise, the next bonus, the next tax refund, it goes straight into savings and investments. Your lifestyle stays exactly where it is. The gap between what you earn and what you spend starts to open up for the first time in your adult life. Second, you build something on the side while you're still employed, while the paycheck is still covering your rent. You use the hours between 7 p.m. and midnight, not every night, some nights, enough nights. It's slow. It doesn't make money for months. Some months it makes $200. The next month you make absolutely nothing because your one lead ghosted you. Then 3 months of scraping and doubting yourself and almost giving up. Then suddenly $1,200 in a single week from a client who found you through a friend of a friend. It's not a ladder, it's a dogfight, but the number exists and it's yours. Nobody can take it. Nobody can fire you from it. Third, you track the crossover point. The month your side income covers your rent, then your rent and your car payment, then your rent, your car, and your groceries. Each month, the job becomes a little less necessary, not optional yet, but less mandatory. And that shift from I have to be here to I'm choosing to be here for now changes how you walk into that office every morning. The fear doesn't go away. You just stop letting it make decisions for you. And then 1 month, you run the numbers and you realize if you quit tomorrow, you wouldn't go broke. You wouldn't thrive, but you wouldn't go broke. The side income covers 80% of your expenses. You've got 8 months of savings. The math isn't perfect, but it's real. And for the first time, leaving isn't a fantasy. It's a spreadsheet. Chapter 6. The escape you quit on a Thursday. Not a Friday. Not some dramatic end-of-week walkout. A Thursday. Because you have a client call on Friday morning for your own thing and you don't want to do it from the office bathroom anymore. Your boss asks if you're sure. You say yes. HR gives you paperwork. You hand in your laptop. Your coworker asks where you're going, and you say, home. And it's the most honest thing you've said in that building in years. You drive home at 2 p.m. on a Thursday, and the highway is empty because everyone else is still at work. Monday morning comes. No alarm. You wake up at 8 something. The apartment is quiet. Your phone has no notifications from Slack. Nobody needs anything from you. The calendar is empty. And it doesn't feel good. Not yet. It feels like the first day of summer break when you were a kid, except you're an adult, and there's no September to go back to. The freedom is real, but so is the silence. And the silence has a question in it that you've been drowning out with busyness for the last 8 years. Now what? You sit with that question for about a week. It's uncomfortable. Some mornings you almost open a job listing just to feel normal again. You catch yourself checking your old work email out of habit. You miss the structure, not the job, the structure, the knowing what comes next. But slowly, day by day, you start filling the silence with something that's actually yours. The client calls get more frequent, the side project starts feeling like the main project. You're working harder than you ever did at the office, but it doesn't feel the same, because nobody can take it from you. Nobody's putting their name on your work. Nobody's deciding if you get a raise. The rat race didn't just trap your schedule, it trapped your identity. And rebuilding that, figuring out who you are when nobody's telling you what to do, that takes longer than saving up the money to quit. Payoff. 6 months out, you're making less than you did at your job, some months a lot less. But your expenses are low because you never inflated them, and the work is yours. Every client you earn, you keep. Every hour you put in builds something that compounds, not for a company, for you. You still think about the office sometimes, not with anger, more like remembering a place you used to live. You can picture the desk, the break room, the parking lot, but you can't remember why you stayed so long. It already feels like someone else's life. Most people will never do this. And that's not because they're weak or lazy or stupid. It's because the machine is really, really good at what it does. It gives you just enough comfort to stay, just enough fear to not leave, just enough identity to forget you had your own. The rat race doesn't end when you quit your job. Plenty of people quit and build a new cage that looks exactly like the old one. Different title, same treadmill. It ends when you stop letting the system decide what your life looks like. When you stop measuring your time in someone else's hours. When Monday morning feels like every other morning because you built something that doesn't need a weekend to recover from. Most people never get there. Not because they can't, because the machine is too good at making them think they shouldn't even try. The door's been open this whole time. You're just the only one who hasn't walked through it yet. follow the path.